the things that you put in airplane. So in the airplane, in between, you put this yellow foam.
Yeah.
So I have that inside.
Oh, all inside.
All inside. This is my airplane.
That's why the name is on air, huh?
Yes, sir. Exactly. Are we rolling? Are we rolling? That was a good one, right? This is my airplane, and well, we got to go for a journey. Thank you very much, Dhananjay sir. Thank you very much for giving us your time.
It's my pleasure, Sanjay.
Thank you very much. No, honestly, I have been meaning to talk to you for such a long time, and tourism has been a part of my heart. You know, honestly, it has been a part of my heart. Abdullah, you've been a good friend, my good sir. Thank you very much for coming.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting.
Thank you very much for being here. And again, as always, I've loved traveling with you personally as well, and I've loved traveling with the airlines that you represent. And thank you very much for being here and the changes that you're trying to make as well. Let's get started. We're off air. We're talking about so many different things. One of the first things that I personally want to dive into is VNY 2020. We were talking about Visit Nepal 2020, and you know, the thought process of VNY 2020. You had just joined.
Yeah.
You had just joined. It was the beginning phases of your Nepal Tourism Board tenure. Could you tell us a little bit about what was the thought process of VNY 2020, to be precise?
Actually, you know, government come up with the target, the number of tourists target. They come up with the vision that we should have invite at least 2 million people to Nepal. And before that, our data shows that we have almost 1.2 million people were visiting. So we have to add the number by the 0.8 million, which was quite a challenging job. This is what. And for that, they have they come up with this idea, Visit Nepal 2020, and they have created a completely a separate secretariat for that under the chairmanship of our Suraj Bhai there. And so he really come up with a number of very fantastic ideas, and within a short period, because by the middle of this, or on the 23rd of the March, the country went on the lockdown. But within that short period, from the January 1 to 30, he had he done a number of wonderful things. For example, the Everest Fashion Show was one part of that. Skating in the frozen ice lake, that was the first time that we were doing. Biking in the mountains, and he came up with a very creative idea. And at the same time, he was approaching these different religious leaders in the India, and he want to invite them to Nepal and want to promote Nepal as a kind of a religious meditation or the wellness center. So completely different approach he was taking. So in between, after my appointment, I joined as just like after a month, we did this inauguration, and then we jointly started to work on what country want to achieve and how we can work more closely and can achieve what we really want. And we were moving on that. Our officers, all the staffs were working in very closely with the different countries. But the time when we inaugurated, before that, the COVID was already seen in the China.
Of course.
So what we were thinking, like China, the people will not come. So we were expected almost 0.5 million people from the China. So one big target was already we have lost. Then the ministry we decided, let's divide the world in a different category, and let's make because now the marketing strategy have to be changed in the new scenario, because the pandemic started to spread in the other countries. So first we divided on the 12 different part. Okay, we will do marketing here and we will achieve what we want. But every morning you come up with the new news and you have to change your whole strategy. So for a month we were like in a dilemma what to do. What is the best, because nobody knows what is going to happen, and all of a sudden it comes to India and to Nepal, then it shut down. So everything then we have to back up from saying that the VNY 2020 concept, and the secretariat was closed. And then we said that okay, since we don't know what will happen next, so we decided that we will do when the situation will come back in the normal. So since then, for the last 1.5 years, we are just struggling with the situation. But within that, this gives a lot of new lessons to us. If you want to know, I just can share.
Of course, please.
The most important part of what happened is, first time we realized that this sort of situation can come and we need to find a way to survive. And Nepal government for the first time realized the importance of the domestic market, which we haven't focused in the past. So initially nobody think that the Nepalese are also tourists. So this pandemic gave a very, completely drastically changed all third of the people, and whole industry in Nepal, which was closed down during the lockdown. When we later it opened by the domestic tourist, and if you look at the total number, only 68,000 people visited in last 1.5 year, and our from March 2020 after the lockdown, and out of them I think almost 70% are for the diplomatic reasons, and only others are the people either they for the trekking or the climbing or for the visiting some places. So they couldn't contribute much in the economy.
Yeah.
So it was the domestic tourism that has really helped Nepal to.
I'm going to jump into domestic tourism in a while. Abdullah, the thing with Turkish Airlines is, I like this about Turkish Airlines, not focused on the labor market, focused on the tourism market. That is one of the things that you've come in and you've promoted that as well, right?
Yes.
Share a little bit about your tenure so far
Sure.
for the past 7 years.
So honestly, like for Turkish Airlines from the day one, Nepal is a tourism destination.
Yeah.
And when I say day one, I should say one more thing. Today is our 8th-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Like we started in September 2013.
Okay, cool.
Honestly, let's say September 2013. So
Congratulations on that.
Thank you for that. And from the day one, that is our main target. And when we are doing that, we are honestly coming with an advantage to Nepal. What is the advantage? We have all around the world more than 325 destinations, which we can bring people from all these places to Nepal. So we can promote Nepal as a tourism destination in all our stations and everywhere. So that's a big advantage for us to add a new tourism destination, and of course for Nepal to be able to bring from all those countries. So our whole focus was like that, honestly. And when we talk about a little bit like BMY and tourism in Nepal, because of that, our looking angle to Nepal is always from the tourism side, how we can bring more people to here. And that's why we always try to contribute with all tourism entrepreneurs, like stakeholders, organizations like Nepal Tourism Board, wherever we can do anything, hoteliers, tour operators, travel agencies, all of them, we try to make a good tourism environment, honestly. And continuously we work on that. Just to give an example, to promote Nepal outside, we have our own teams there for Turkish Airlines, but we go for promoting Nepal.
Yeah.
And we went to several tourism marts outside. Like ITB Berlin, which is in UK, and also in Spain, Fitur, Matka in Finland, like MITT in Russia, like Portugal,
Majority
US,
of the ones,
whatever. All around the area, wherever the tourism, Turkey also, MITT, wherever the tourism marts are happening, we were there as Kathmandu station to promote Nepal as a tourism destination to the tour operators and everyone present there, and of course to our stations there. So that was our looking angle, and we continuously did farm trips for this, familiarization trips from other countries. We brought people. We did some workshops there with them, with our stations in collaboration with them to increase the volume. With tour operators there, we did with our stations in coordination. So that is our angle. That's why we work in tourism area continuously. When I first came, I was too much focused on this, and I was saying like we work 8 hours for Nepal tourism, 3-4 hours for our own business. So it was like that. And of course, like around 2016, when we were discussing these issues, we were saying Nepal has much more to offer, but focused on like only mountains. So we were saying that, okay, Nepal has much more to offer. And that day we said Nepal more than mountains. And we put our strategy accordingly. We tried to show the other parts of Nepal, other sides of Nepal. Not only the destination-wise inside, but also what can be done more in Nepal. So we focused on that, and those days we were discussing about 2 million target, because we were saying if you just focus 1 million, those days the numbers were, after the earthquake it was around 800,000 only, and it dropped at 2015-16 a little bit because of earthquake. We were saying if you focus on 1 million, you will just try to market more. But if you focus to make it 2 million, you will focus on some structural changes. And also you will try to find what else we can offer. So you will open your vision. Because like just increase a little bit means just more marketing. Everybody understands like that. But when you focus a really big number, then you have to find something else. And that is the point you develop yourself, you improve yourself. Even those days we were discussing about 2 million targets. And even we had a kind of committee which is Vision 5 million 2030. So but numbers are not the main thing we need to focus, of course. I mean, numbers are just there to give a little bit target and to give a little bit motivation to people.
Yeah.
Main thing is it's a journey. Tourism is a journey. I mean, how you improve your products, where you move on.
Yeah.
And as an airline, we also try to be on that side. How to bring more people, how to promote Nepal outside better. Who can we collaborate with that? How can we more useful for the country? Even I was saying that think like Turkish Airlines is Nepal Turkish Airlines. And you get the advantage of our all destinations.
Yeah.
So that's our main motto.
True, no doubt on that. The thing about, you comfortable? The thing about Nepal Tourism Board that I love is Aileko motto, okay? So the motto that we have right now is naturally Nepal, once is not enough. You have to keep coming back and back and back and back to Nepal because we have so many destinations.
True.
That people can always come back to. Like off air, we were talking about the mid levels, right? We were talking about the mid levels. I know mid hills, we have the mountains. We have so many different destinations that individually we can cater to. Again, one or two people groups or major groups as well. You know, how do we? Let's talk about now. All right, let's talk about now, and then we'll definitely get back to before as well.
Okay, the first thing is, as the Abdullah has also mentioned that Nepal is beyond mountain something.
Yeah.
So I'm completely agree. And after my appointment, I deeply analyzed the situation of Nepal tourism. Then I realized that the most important is we make a mistake by just focusing on the climbing and trekking. Those are a very good product, but since 1960s. Or 1950s when Nepal is open for the rest of the world. Since then we are promoting only that, and because people love to go there, but we never focus on the mid hills where we have almost 45-46% of population is living and almost half of the land is there. And in Tarai also we were not focusing much. Tarai market is not emerged because of our focus. It emerged by itself looking at the huge business potentiality that is from the border areas, adjoining areas of the India where 35 crore population is living. So you can see from the Mechi to all the way up to the Mahanagar, there are number of new hotels, new properties are coming every year. So what I say, government has just allowed them to open a casinos. That is the only favor that the government did. Otherwise, everything was grown up by itself, you know. But the mid hills is the place where I see the maximum opportunities, but nobody has focused on. First thing, people living in the mid hills, they are, if you compare with, they are little highly educated.
Okay.
They are in the bureaucracy, but none of them were in the tourism business. They were not that good to go in the high mountains for the climbing activities because they are not from that region, and they are not from the Tarai where they have a big lands or the big, and in case of the mid hills, if you look for the big areas, there are not big flatlands.
Yeah.
So people were mostly, looking for the jobs, like for the bureaucratic jobs, or they are going abroad. If you look at the people who are going in the other countries for the work, mostly people are going from the hills. So we haven't focused on that. So now we come up with the new concept. We say that why shouldn't we focus on mid hills? Because there are so much to show. First thing, cultural diversity is there. Secondly, these are the destinations that are good even during the summer and even in the winter. For example, during the winter, above 800 meter, if you look, then you can see the clouds below. All the thick fog blanket remains below, and you are above that. Maybe a number of the youngsters have visited the Malungkot and they have come up with the new pictures that they are in the sunny area and all the clouds are below that. During the winter, you can have that sort of environment in Nepal, and we call it a Pahar Sekno Gautira. So Pahar Sekno means like during the winter, people just go out and they are sitting in sun. They are really enjoying. And the whole Europe, when it was covered by the snow, or they have a cold in weather, or the whole Chinese, when they have a Chinese territory under the snow, at that time, people can come to, they can visit Nepal. How many years you just keep going to the sea, in the beach areas? You sometimes, if you like, you can do a hiking in the mid hills, you can keep yourself healthy, and at the same time you can enjoy the sun. It is what in the winter and in the summer. And not only that, the European, but the whole India market, the whole Indo-Gangetic plain, even in the Tarai of Nepal, you can see the thick blanket of fog. So that whole population who are under that fog, for them they are looking for the destination, and Nepal can be the one where we have a 800 plus kilometers extension of this Himalayas ranges. So the mid hills ranges. So this is one market that we need to show. Another is
just a thought, just adding on to what you just said. This market is catered towards the Indian tourists and the Chinese tourists.
and also the European, if we properly. So first, let's focus only on the India because it's nearby and we can easily convince them for this. And if we properly manage and if the infrastructure properly developed, then we can focus on the European market and can go and do a marketing in a destination where they can go and do even during the winter they can do a hiking. They can cycling, they can participate in the number of adventure activities. At the same time, they can enjoy the sun because mostly people who are traveling during the winter from the European countries to the equatorial areas are mostly for the sun. So this is what we can. And what I say, instead of beach where we have this salty water, we can give them a fresh water along the number of rivers, that the big rivers where we have where the river is meandering and there are the number of sea sand deposits. River sand deposit in the river banks. We can have a camping, firing, or like a barbecue, all facilities there. So people can have that sort of atmosphere. But the thing is, first we started to focus on that. We already identified that this can be sold.
This is for 2021.
Now we are focusing on that. So now, because we realize that now the world will not go in a crowded place. People are looking for the natural, less populated areas. So we need to come up with the new products, new ideas. So as a part of that, we decided to develop the mid hills as a hill stations.
Okay.
So in the first phase, we said that let's invest almost 21 billion at a time, 3 billion each province, and let's gather a land of almost like 5,000 rupees or something. By the land pooling, and let's make a master plan of that. And initially, because every individual investor might a little bit afraid to invest there, Nepal Tourism Board, because from our 1.5 billion of rupees that we collected every year, and I'm very much sure that from year 2025 we will get that figure back. So if based on that also we can take almost 21 billion loan from the World Bank, and if the government support, first of the government has to get agree on this idea, which I'm pushing really, I'm pushing to the government, but there are so many people who are really afraid when they see 21 billion. And now we are spending only 1.5 billion something in the tourism industry, and it took years to go,
to 1.5.
Yeah. So what I'm talking about is what we can achieve in coming 20 years. If we take one small decision, we can, as a EMI, Nepal Tourism Board can pay back to the World Bank or whoever the financial institution is, but we can achieve the development that we can achieve in coming 30 years within a coming 4 or 5 years. So this is something, a new idea that I'm really pushing forward, and if we successfully establish that, Nepal whole drastically going to change because, because we are now having a 2 additional airport. Now the Kathmandu...
Hold on. Before we jump into that, I just want to ask you a few things about the things that you just said. Mid-hills like Banaune. We're gonna make the mid-hills. We're gonna get
21 billion
rupees loan from World Bank. We're gonna go ahead and figure this out. How long is this roadmap for? Because one thing that we've constantly seen in Nepal, Dhananjay sir, is what I've personally felt, right? We make a solid plan. I'm not just talking about tourism. We make a solid plan. We go like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then at the end of the day, when it comes to, we also get the loan, we also get everything. But when it comes to execution, I don't know if in my lifetime I'll be able to see all these projects.
No, this is very true. This is very true, because when I'm talking about this concept, so what we need a kind of a people, like especially the tourism secretary and the minister, a kind of a very motivated and a very determined people who really want to do something. Otherwise, and what I'm saying, we already have one agreement with we haven't signed, but we are in the final phase with the ADV, where we are going to do one pilot project that going to include the Siriantu, Kannam and Fikal. So we are going to make that whole area as a tourism destination, where we will focus on the tea cultivation, tea gardening, and the agriculture, tourism, and obviously there will be the water entertainment zone, meditation zone, yoga, football, this everything. Looking at the places where we are going to develop all that area. So my basic concept is that now people, especially in the local government, in the provincial government, whatever the budget is allocated for the tourism, they really don't know where to spend. They need a guidance from someone who really knows. So what I said now, okay, NTB can lead this, and we can guide them. So we try to do a number of workshop talking about the land pooling, because the biggest issue is the land pooling.
Can you make this make everyone understand what exactly is land pooling?
Land pooling is something like what I'm talking about is gathering 5,000 ropenis of land at one place. So there might be 1,000 ropeni land belongs to some private some people. So they don't agree to give it because, or they will come up with the new very high cost. So first we will see what is the average cost there, what is the average land cost. Then we can offer them a 4-time cost at the existing price, because once you start some project, it is going to be 10-fold, 15, 20-fold. So I'm talking about the least developed, but the kind of a flat land, more or less flat, 20
in every province.
Yeah, in every province. We have already identified the areas anyway. So there we will first request the people to give the land. If not, what we will do, we will make a road, we will make a master plan, and we will make the road, we will make provide the facility, water facility and electricity facility, everything. Then whatever the land was used for that purpose, we will reduce in the ratio, in the proportion from the each individual land, and they will have their own plots there as well. But they don't. We cannot assure them that they are going to get the same plot that they used to have before the planning. So they can have anywhere. Okay. So this is how. Once we have all, then Nepal Tourism Board is going to build somewhere. They might use the 100, 200, 300 rupees of land, and will initially start accommodation for 200, 300 people. They come up with the good infrastructure, and then whatever the land left, we will have in a master plan, everything is there. Like somewhere, if I have a big swimming pool, then anyone can come and build that. The private sector, they can collect the money for themselves, by themselves. Okay,
It's a collecting tool, let's say.
Yeah. Okay, the government going to give the land on lease for 50 years, 30 years. Now with the government policy, it is 50, but cabinet can decide up to the longer period as well. Then we can come up with, the government can come up with the policy, no taxes for 5 years or 10 years. Then okay, no taxes, let's invest. It is a big opportunity, people will come for that.
Is it recreation only?
No, that there should be a yoga, meditation, wellness, casinos, 5-star hotels. So it is come to something like a kind of
like a tourism city.
Tourism
city.
Tourism
So
city,
but every province should have something different, so that people who had been to the one, they can go to the another one, can have a little different flavor next time. And this is going to promote not only once we develop this, then all the peripheral areas, all the agriculture activities they are going to promote. We are going to focus on the domestic products especially. So for this. I'm talking about a very big investment, and for that, India is the big market. And what I'm saying is, we will develop only those areas which are only at the distance of 1 or 2 hour, maximum of 2 hour drive distance
from the border.
So that people who is coming from the like from the India, who is driving for the 2 hours, if in Nepal also, if you drive in 2 hours, then in 4-5 hours he can reach to those places. So with the family, they can enjoy there. There will be facilities for the childrens, for the youngs, and for the old people as well. And we will connect it somewhere with the religious site also. For the older people who are there, they stay there, they can go to because we have also in the hills number of the different Devi Devtas that are related either with the Mahabharata or the Ramayana. So we can interlink them. So this is the overall concept. And so see, this is my dream. I already started to work on it. I have already went and I have identified the locations which are very good for that. I'm thinking about developing the Marco area, this Indra Sarovar area. It is the closest. In 1.5 hours you can reach there. Kathmandu people can go there. No, we are driving 6 hours to go to Pokhara from here. So if we start to focus this one, we can plan. Make a master plan for this area, because we don't have much houses there at present. So if we go in a plan, it is possible. If not, if it grow by itself, then it's become a hell. You cannot do anything later.
So everything sounds great. Everything sounds great when it comes to, all right, every single province is going to have its own, let's say, a small tourism city.
Yeah.
Like the plan. 2 hour distance from India, we are catering to 35 crore people. That is almost 1.4 billion, right? We found out that yesterday. So this much people are going to come over. That's great. Domestic tourism will also grow. By when do you think this is going to be possible?
So
that's the thing. Where in a country, we still till today we don't have a tourism minister.
Okay, that's the political. But always what I think is, if the political system have to just accept the ideas. The bureaucracy have to do all these things all the time, If you have everything clear in a plan, then it moves. So I already talked with the number of NRNs. They are very much interested, like who are from the number one province. We will make a group of the NRN. Okay, you who are in, they can invest in first. So once we have a master plan ready, then I think there is no problem of funding one thing. But who will do that? That is the provincial government are really eager to work on that. Even the local government are. But again, the thing is, I'm talking about the money we need initially to go and do all this. The government has to give a confirmation or stay as a guarantee that the NTB will do, and we are giving a guarantee. But do this government will take that decision? The major point is there. So just to give a government more assurance, we talk with the ADB, and ADB is going to give us 1.5 crore rupees just for the initial, study and having a number of conversations with the different level of the government and come up with their real problems of the field. And to some extent, we have already started to work on that and have talked before. And now with this money, we are going to hire some more consultant and going to do a detailed study of the Sriyantu, Kannam and Fikal. And let's see, within 4-5 months, we will know what exactly the situation is. And if everything goes, then it has to be taken to the cabinet. And once everything is ready, then, then government will decide, okay, this is the land price, this is somebody have a house, either they will get this much money or they have to move. At least we will not, we will support, we will give a more. I have an idea like giving a 4 times more than what the real existing price of present at the current price. I think nobody is going to deny it for that. People will accept it.
Well, time will tell what is really going to happen. My thing is, again, vision's good. There's no doubt on the vision. With anybody and everybody's vision, I have no doubt on that, people in power. But the thing is, at the end of the day, when it comes to execution, that is somewhere that we either take a lot of time or we either fail. That is something that we've constantly been seeing, and people are kind of tired with this, right? Yeah. With you were saying, Abdullah?
Honestly, this is a kind of master plan. Master plans should be there, but definitely also at one point, like the province's support is important here, not only in this project, in overall, like branch offices of Nepal Tourism Board in all provinces should be there. And definitely for investors in those areas, what I believe is like incentives in tourism investments are very important. Like somehow if people invest on that, like as tax exemption, like for every people they hire some kind of exemptions, because that will create business opportunities. And when we talk about tourism, sometimes we focus on too much about tourism, but tourism is not tourism only, because for a country like Nepal, it means more than that. We have to understand that meaning, I believe. When people understand that meaning, I think we will have more support.
Describe it.
Let me tell you, when you say about tourism, it touches to everyone in the street. I mean, it touches to taxi driver, of course, restaurant owners, farmer, because they can sell their products, like construction, like in every industry it touches. And of course the people who comes here and goes will be they see the beauty of Nepal, they see the products of Nepal. Of course some trade options, like just if I can give one example, I mean one airline, what can one airline change? Before we started to fly here, the trade level was around like $17-18 million between Turkey and Nepal. Now it is more than $80 million. And we reached that number before. Like it's trade options also. Like because when people come from, this is just effect for Turkey. The people we bring from other countries also create some additional effect. The trade numbers, everything increase, and of course when the trade numbers, when the money coming to country increases or products selling out is increasing, it touches to everyone. From like even the one who is selling garme, or who is selling, let's say, his tomatoes in the market. Everybody gets benefit of that, and it's a kind of development, because for less developed countries, like connectivity and tourism is the first key points where all the story starts, because then people know about your country, then you start knowing about others. That matters a lot. So for Nepal, I think the role of tourism is much more than we understand. I mean, and I try to highlight that. So that is why we need some really good vision and some kind of mindset changes to understanding the real effect of tourism on this country.
No doubt on what you just said. No doubt on what you just said as well. For me personally, this is my personal opinion. What I always want for Nepal, for my country where I was born, is very simple. Right now, because of remittance, is the number one moneymaker in this country. Number one. After that, tourism comes third. maybe
No,
fourth.
it comes
Right?
at last,
Yeah, right. Tourism has to take over and become first.
Yeah, of course.
Because there is no other country in the world that is more beautiful than mine.
Let
That
me-
is more beautiful than.
Let me just jump in,
Yes,
as you
please,
said,
go for
as
it.
you said, honestly.
Go for it.
Okay, just the first things which comes to my mind, I will tell you. Okay, like mountains, everybody knows, like trekking, hiking, rafting, cultural diversity, photography, like every kind of photography, every kind of adventure sports. I'm telling you, for all these 5-6 areas, Nepal can be number one in the world. I mean, this is not a dream. I mean, Mr. Regmi told his dream.
Yeah.
Let me tell my dream also.
Yeah.
So, because these all areas, tell me anywhere in the world which can be better in these areas than Nepal. Honestly, I don't think anywhere. I mean, yes, Turkey I have to point separately. Of course, Turkey. But Turkey in different areas. But Nepal in this area, I mean, these 6 products, at least 6 products, I think 6 products can be number one in the world directly. And I didn't even tell about skiing and other things which may be possible kind of visionary projects also. But like rafting, there are many rivers, like
6,000 rivers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
6,500 rivers all around. Like they are coming from Mount Himalaya. Like when you do rafting, mountain is still there. So more than mountain, you are doing something. Adventure sports, any kind of adventure sports you do, like mountain biking. That's one of our favorite, like Kora cycling and other. You know, we like supporting that. Like in summertime, when monsoon season, when it is rainy, like that mountain biking is great fun. So where can be better than this? You know, you watch the mountain and you do like mountain biking at the same time. People also like photography and everything. Like everywhere is like a photograph studio. Your studio is very nice, but everywhere inside Nepal is a photograph studio. Like movie shooting, of course, I forgot to add that maybe. Yeah, like hiking and trekking is already there. We don't need to even talk about them. Nowhere can be better than here. So cultural diversity, I think that is one thing which is not very much highlighted. Like cultural diversity in Nepal is like something unseasonal, you know. It is all the time there. Like the festivals you have, of course, I know now these days festivals and other things like crowds, that's not very good at that point, but it will be normal one day. So those things are like big important products, and everybody can focus on different side of it. So, but what do we look when we look from outside? That's why we like using that motto, honestly. When you look from outside, when can we go to Nepal? Everybody just sees like March, April, and October, November, which I fully disagree that this country has like 12 months season.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to add, because we focus mostly on the mountain, what happened, you know, it has a very bad impact. If you look at the global total population, then I was calculating, like, if we're promoting only the mountain, then who want to visit Nepal, who are between 25 to 55 or 60, in between that age group, because they are young and they have money, little bit money. But we saying, if we promote that, then the people above the 60 or who got retired, for them, it's a tough destination. They don't want to visit Nepal. Okay? And they are the people who have the maximum money, who really want to spend on but it's not a favorite destination for them. And for the kids also, parents afraid, because we have promoted it like that. It's hiking, mountain climbing, it's a
adventurous country.
adventurous, and parents really little afraid. If you want to send your child, Dubai or Nepal, for the study tour.
For me, Nepal, for sure.
No, for you are the exception. But like for others, they will choose a better destination, other destination. I mean, better is Nepal, but they don't know what better here is. So I think because we promoting more in the mountains, only the age-specific group prefer to coming to Nepal. And I was counting down, and it is between 6 to 10% of the global population who got passport. Only for them, we are requesting to visit Nepal, not the whole population.
That's why Nepal is known as a very niche niche destination. That I can understand. I mean, that's some, of course, something. But the main thing is, as you said, I mean, how you highlight this is important. I mean, all of a sudden, your strong point, which is normally mountains in everywhere, can be your weak point if you don't promote it correctly. And your weak point can be your strong point if you make the marketing correctly. So here, the strong point, very strong point, mountains, because everybody just focused on that, and it was easy to focus on that, it became by the time, it became a kind of lack of working in other areas, and that's why other areas are not well developed enough.
Well, we still have time. This is the perfect. I believe.
Yeah, of course, of course.
I believe this is the perfect time when we can sit down and go back and do our solid homework. Because always, pandemic has taught every single individual, not just in Nepal but all around the world, that okay, let's take a step back and let's look at the things that we could do better. Let's look at the things that we could do when this pandemic is slightly controllable. Even today, till today, right now, we are still unsure. Tourists, I'm talking about my friend, tourists are still unsure if they need to go ahead and do a 7-day quarantine or not. In quarantine, it says that they need to do it for 7 days. We still don't have visa on arrival till today, right? Till today, I'm looking at September. Autumn season is right around the corner. Mid-September, it's going to start, and it's going to last till December. So we still till today don't have a fixed mandate on are we going to stay for 7 days or not? Because my friend, I've seen people who come and then they don't stay the quarantine. They're out like this. So who is monitoring them as well? What are we going to do with quarantine?
So the thing is, normally when we look from only the tourism perspective, these quarantine rules are not that good. But from when you talk about the health from the health ministry's perspective, then they are very much strict on that. So after the pandemic started, there were three major government bodies were coming up with three different type of decisions.
Okay.
Being in the tourism industry, being who is representing especially the private sector, I am always go with our ministry, especially the tourism ministry, always go with very liberal policies. We say let's try to make it much easier for the people to come. But there is a health ministry who say no, it gets spread. So 10-day quarantine for this scientific reason and that. And when the health ministry during the pandemic, if health ministry comes and says that this, then the health ministry is more stronger than even the home ministry or the tourism ministry. So government has to listen, because government is something like nobody want to take the responsibility if something goes wrong. So everybody want to say that to someone. So this is the time the health ministry is more stronger, and all the decisions about the quarantine, though we go with even yesterday also we come up with the very flexible, like okay, who got vaccinated, they don't have to stay in the quarantine. They just come back to, they come to Nepal, get their PCR test done, and they can go travel anywhere. This is what we are proposing. But I don't know what will be come out from the CCMC, where they are the representative from the home ministry, health ministry, tourism ministry, everywhere. But when it debate there, when we talk on these points, then we propose something, the decision comes completely different. So that is the problem there, and I don't want to blame any ministry at present, because if really it spreads, then they ask me a question: can you take the responsibility? It's a very difficult to say that yes, okay. So always so the health ministry is taking a responsibility to assure, and they are assuring the people that we will control this disease, and we are here for your safety. So at this time, even the home ministry is very much silent, and they are listening to the health ministry, and this is the situation. But looking at the first and second wave, now we have learned a lot during this, because after the first wave, we opened the whole industry, and we again after the second pandemic, now again we are in the we are trying to push the tourism industry first by promoting the domestic tourism, and then we are also working on how to attract the international tourists. And what I'm really focusing from my side, from the tourism board side, is that this is the right time to approach the Indian market. This is what I'm saying. It is because now for the Indian tourist also, I had a meeting with this Is My Trip, Thomas Cook, India, Make My Trip, and so on, the big outbound agencies, and they were saying that we don't have a destination to send people. We have only these Maldives and Dubai. We need more destination. If Nepal come up with the more flexible policies for the Indian tourist, they will just promote Nepal, because they need to do a business, and people really want to come to Nepal. So I said this is the right time to promote that. So for that we need also flexible policies for them as well, together with the other global other people. But this is the time that how many people you can bring from Europe or from America? Obviously, the number will be less. But people, if you go and properly do market in India, people can come by their private cars, like in thousands of cars can come in a day. Now, if you look from the Nainital all the way to the Leh Ladakh, all the hill stations are occupied for coming 3 months. They don't have even a place to send the more tourists. So it's completely occupied. That's why Maldives fully packed. Now they are looking for the destination where they can send. And that's why they want Nepal to come up with some, easy quarantine rules, and so we need to open. And now what happened that since the central government is not controlling everything, Khumbu come up with their own protocol. Every touristic area, if they come up with their own protocols, that is also little bit problematic, because you cannot give all the information at a time. So it should be a centrally disseminated information center, which the NTV can do, which we are proposing. And from here we will give the information that which area are already vaccinated. Like for the Khumbu, almost 98% people were vaccinated.
Manang Mustang,
Manang
100%.
Mustang is 100%. Not the 100%, but
Almost.
Along the trail, 100%. And if you look at this, the Langtang, 100%, if we say. So let's first open these high mountain areas and welcome the upcoming season. Okay, and we can come up with the clear concept that vaccinated people can come and can travel in this area. If we give this message immediately, this is going to give a kind of a boost to the tourism.
People are waiting for it. People are, Dhananjay sir, I know this for a fact that people, again, we have so many trekking and tours companies.
Yeah.
So many. You know this way better than me. So many. They're waiting. People in European countries, people in the West are literally waiting for Nepal to announce that we are open. It's just a matter of time how we are going to go ahead and do that. I just don't understand. We did stop visa on arrival, right? We stopped visa on arrival. That is something that we have to, I think, focus on right away. Quarantine, like you said, even when it comes to passage for safe entry as well, there are a lot of tourists who've put two different type of vaccines. Maybe some has put Pfizer, some has put Moderna, or individually they've put different as well. So what's going to happen with them as well? All these things, somebody has to take in chargeship. And त्यो भन्छ नि नेपालीमा मौकामा चौका जसले हान्यो त्यो अब्बल निस्किन्छ भनेर.
True.
हैन अब एनटिभीले लिन्छ कि कसले लिन्छ त?
No, this is what I think, because it is directly related with the private sector and the tourists. So I think the NTB was formed specifically to take care of this, and we are very much ready for that. But there are some decisions we cannot take. We can just recommend the government to come up with these policies. For example, on arrival visa. I am the one who is pushing up for this for the last time, for last couple of months. Even after the last quarantine also, they didn't open that. Because we have our diplomatic missions only in 39 places, 39 countries. Otherwise, in rest of the countries, if people have to come to visit, it is quite difficult for them to come because if they don't get the on-arrival visa. So now we started to give a recommendation to those people who cannot get. And on our recommendation, they are getting the on-arrival visa as well.
True, so true.
We need to, instead of getting all these permission from the NTB, because we also need a number of papers, and what we have come up with the policy is like we make a compulsory to use a guide and an agent. It is because during the pandemic, if some FIT comes to Nepal, and if they are traveling in the mountain, if they got sick, then who is going to take care of them? Because at this time, even if you have a fever or cold, people first they think that it's a COVID and nobody comes close to you to take care of you. So we make a compulsory guide or the agency services for the people who want to travel to Nepal. So that we can give a better services in case of the problem, when they are in problem. So for that, we already requested that if these agencies come with the number of papers, then we can allow them to, and we will give a permission. So this is going on. But for the from last 3 months, that was also closed, but NTB, it was not written, they didn't give us don't do it, but actually we cannot do it, but I'm just doing it, because I know the problem of the private sector. I cannot run away for that.
People spend a lot of money. You know this, right? I know this. I can see it. Even though I'm just a part of...
So what I really want to focus is, let's say, we really come up with a very on-arrival visa is our first priority. Vaccinated people should be allowed to go anywhere without a quarantine. And people who come with and there are some people like the royal families, in some of the royal families, like Italian prince is coming to Nepal. But because they cannot take that vaccine, it is because of some government rules. So they are coming without the vaccinations. For them also, we need to keep open so that we coming up with the new saying that the 10-day compulsory quarantine, for them. So we are coming up with the new thing so that we can open to everyone. And at the same time, we have to give assurance to the traveler that you are traveling in a place where people are well known about the pandemic and they are taking major precautions for their safety. To giving that assurance is also very important. Because haphazardly opening, then people start to suspect, oh, only for the money they put us
in risk.
No, honestly.
So this is what it's a very critical, when when we talk, when we come on a table to take a decision, then number of views come and we have to respect everyone's, vision. And so my concern is, one, the safety of that, and easy to travel to Nepal. This is the more
main thing here is, like, if you have clear health and safety protocols, everybody knows their own risk also at the same time. Because maybe they are not flying overseas at these days; they are not coming overseas. But most of the Europeans already traveled inside EU already, or most of the Americans traveled inside America already. And these guys are also, as you said, one of the main thing here is, like, since all the neighborhood is also mostly closed, and Nepal compared with them can be more open, because in Nepal you are not going to, main area is always with the nature, out areas. Even the let's say the cultural areas, the whatever you do also, from wellness to trekking, rafting, they are all in let's say open areas. So as you said, the main critical point, maybe we need to a little bit
sell, maybe market.
What we need to say, it will sell itself, honestly. We just need to show it. So the main thing here is, yes, vaccinated people living in mountain areas, that is important. But second thing is, now all these guys who traveled inside, everybody, human nature, we know the human nature. People like to travel because people now understood that they can explore the world by traveling. They can know more about other countries, other cultures with traveling. And traveling trend is really changing. And at this moment, Nepal has a really good point and good product from itself. So when people wants to sell, when you have the product, if you can make them meet each other at the correct point, I believe that this is the time for also promoting something. Because Thailand is not open, Vietnam is not open, Hong Kong is not open, China is not open, India is not open, but mostly East countries. But when you go to Spain is open, Greece is open, Turkey is open, Malta is open, that's open. So it means that people are already traveling there. So why don't we give them the correct product for overseas to start with?
Dhananjay sir, how about vaccination though? When it comes to people who are working with tourism, are they vaccinated now?
Yeah, actually, we requested government to announce that they are going to give a vaccination to the people who are involved in the tourism industry first. But they said that no, we cannot go with this policy but they didn't come up with clear on statements, but in practically they have done that. They give enough vaccination to the Khumbu Valley, Langtang. So in all those valleys we have where we had more tourists, and now in the Makalu area as well. So they first vaccinated all of them. And in Kathmandu, last time UN gave me 500 vaccines, saying that whoever left, you can just, I got only 200 applicants. Even they are also not the direct, but they are some fathers or the father-in-laws. After that also we have only 200 people. So this shows that the whole Tamil, most of the people are already vaccinated. Okay. So Pokhara, health minister sent 25,000 vaccinations for the tourism industry people. And there were not enough people to get it, for that. So they have given to the other. So mostly the tourist area of Nepal, major, I don't say in the Tarai, but the hills and the mountains are now open. We are really ready, all are vaccinated. So the first, what we can say, that the vaccinated people can go on this destination, and in the first phase we can open that. And once we got the vaccination in the, especially in the Lumbini and in Janakpur, then we can come up with promoting them as well. And one more important is this Dhangadi and Nepalganj is also almost fully vaccinated.
So,
which is very good.
At this point, honestly, yes, I definitely share the concerns of health ministry. Everything that is true. We have to be careful about that.
No doubt on that. No shadow of a doubt on that.
But one thing. At the end of the day, we are in. Let's say I'm in aviation, but let's say because I'm voluntarily supporting Nepal tourism, and also of course as our airlines policy and our office policy here. So like tourism is something like it is like a leakage in the wall. It should find its way. I mean, wherever you can do tourism, you should focus on that. I mean, our focus should be how we can like start the tourism, how we can move the tourism forward, or how we can survive in this point. If we like, health ministry will give their decisions, health and safety protocols. Definitely, we'll tell the story from our side how it can be done. At the middle or like mostly from our side, if there is a solution, then we should move through there. If Kumbu is available, let's send them to Kumbu. If let's say Mustang is available, let them go to Mustang. If they can do like open area trekking, let them come for that. Like our main focus should be on opening, like we should look with that angle only. If we focus on, oh, it is happening, that is happening, if we start worrying about what is happening around, we have to see the positive side of the story. I believe in that.
My strategy since the beginning of this has been as personally is, every individual in the country should get an opportunity to work. Everybody should get an opportunity to work. It doesn't matter if it's me sitting in Kathmandu or if it's a porter sitting in Kumbu. He should get an opportunity to work. Yes. And how can we facilitate to make his or her life easier, at the end of the day? Because tourism is the first one to close. Entertainment sector, to be precise, is the first one to close. And then that's going to be the last one to open. So the people who are going to be affected are the people who have already majorly affected because they've given their life, they've given their livelihood, they've given so much money and so much time and energy to this. Looking at the hotel, I personally, looking at the hotel business, I don't know how some of the hotels are going to survive. Some of the hotels have spent so much money for VNY 2020 because they thought a lot of people are going to come. And now, I don't know how they're going to survive. Adventure tourism, the same. There's so many people that I know who've spent so much money when it comes to adventure tourism. And they really don't know what's going to happen. I love your idea of the Indian tourists coming over. That's a fantastic, brilliant idea. But again, at the same time, we cannot forget all the dollars that's going to come into the country as well.
Yeah, well, true. That is also one thing. And in one of our study, it shows that the Indian tourists are also spending almost $50 per day.
Oh.
It is 17,000 for 4.5 days, which is, if you calculate it in dollar, it comes around $45, $50, which is, so, sometimes the political statement comes that the Indian tourists are not spending much in Nepal, but that's not true. If you really go with those data, then it's really interesting. So we shouldn't,
honestly,
underestimate.
Tourism is something. What I believe is it has no nationality. Tourist is tourist.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have less or more. Tourist is still tourist because like even backpacker, even the high end, very high end, who is spending like let's say thousands of dollars are same for me. Because when you look at the tourism, I think a little bit different than this. Tourism is not a commercial product only. Tourism is sharing the beauty of your country at the same time. As a person, if you want to go some other countries to see, those people also have right to come and see your country. And you have lots of things to share. So sharing the beauty of your country with them, and which makes you make you proud to show that, see, this is our mountains, this is our river, this is our, where you can sit down and have a coffee while watching that. So, this is a kind of satisfaction maybe also at the same time. And not only, I understand the dollar point, but it is
very
also
agree.
this
but
one.
the thing is, one thing is, one of my friend was telling me that he met someone in Goa, and they said that, now I'm going Nepal. Then, wow, you're planning to go Nepal. Why you are going Nepal? Let's say, oh, I'm almost out of money, but I still have to spend almost 2 months outside. And in Goa, I can't even survive for 2 weeks. So I'm going Nepal. So Nepal, we have placed ourselves as a destination where everybody, the global population from whatever the economic level they can survive, which is somehow good because whoever is coming, they are contributing some. But I really want to make something like that in the mountains. I don't want to make it much cheaper than in Kathmandu. Like in Kathmandu, you are spending almost $40 a day. Then when you are going in the mountains, you are spending less. As FITs, they are going, and what the services we are giving is, okay, if you are eating in my hotel, you can sleep free of cost. That sort of policies are there. So we are doing a competition on a wrong direction. Instead of saying that I will give a better facilities, I will serve better food, but I will take more money. If the people are doing a struggling, if I make cheap, people will stay at my lodge and I will make a money, which is completely wrong. Yeah. So this is going, so we need to change this trend, and then slowly, if we really work hard and if we give the better services, slowly the image of the country will change.
Yeah, and also this is something like that. It depends on the product, honestly. If you can create areas where people can spend money. Then people will spend more. For example, if I go to, let's say, Bhaktapur Durbar Square, if there's a fine dining restaurant facing all the beauties there, cultural richness there, I'll be ready to spend. When I go to, let's say, Lukla, if there is a nice spa, for example, which is facing the mountains, then I'll be happy to spend there. I mean, the product has to be developed accordingly. Also.
I went to a mall a couple of years ago. This is when I was in my early 20s. I went to a mall. This is in Las Vegas in the US. So I'll never forget this ever in my life. When you go inside this mall, it's all Las Vegas. It's a crazy city, right?
Yeah.
When you go inside this mall, there's so many people selling you so many things, even when you're walking.
Yeah.
Somebody's selling you water. Somebody's selling you beer. Somebody's selling you this. Somebody's selling you that. That constantly you have so many different choices that you, by the time I reached to the other side, all my money was gone.
See?
And I had bags.
They created
Because
area which you can spend money.
I believe that was the moment that I believed that when you create it, people will come.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. It depends on the product, honestly. A thing like that, like small, that soft gifts for your daughter, son, when you are buying when they are small, like you don't maybe want to pay $5. But if you go to a theme park and you watch, let's say you went to Disneyland and watching that, you buy the same thing for $40 because it is like, the value reaches at the correct point. I mean, the product is good and they bring you something you can buy and you are very happy to pay for $40, which you can buy $5 outside.
I love this idea of a brother and a friend of mine. His name is Rehan Shrestha. He got influencers from Australia. When we were working on the VNY 2020 project, there were a lot of influencers, very young and smart and talented influencers, very beautiful influencers too. They came from Australia, they flew over here, and then there was a kind of a promotion. Rehan had planned out a promotion, to promote our country so that people who follow them on Australia could look at all the things that we have to offer. It was such a fantastic project, Now with our friend Sri Gurung's project as well, Vlog Challenge as well, that is the same thing that's going to happen with a lot of YouTubers, right? A lot of influencers as well. Could we do a cross-promotion down the road with a lot of countries? Maybe we could tie up with a lot of countries, maybe we could start with SAARC countries and then we could head on towards Europe or maybe towards Southeast Asia and tie up with influencers because now it's all digital.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Very agree. And every year the NTB is doing this actually, but not in a very big scale. But we were doing this morning also before coming here. I was with our filming board people. So they are going to do a festival here, the filming festival soon in December. So they were requesting for some collaboration. Then I said that they were asking. People come with their own film and they will show, and who got the best film, they get the award. And where is the Nepal tourism is promoting? I don't see anything. Then we come up with the concept. I say, okay, you come with how many people are coming? 50. Okay, just announce some price. We will pay for that. And make a competition. Yeah. They will go in a different part of Nepal. They will make a movie on what they see in their own languages. And let's make a competition. I will bear all the cost because they are the best filmmaker who are coming from the different 50. Yeah. They will go, I will send some to Ilam, some to Khaptar, some to Rara, some to some other places, and let them make a movie and let them do a competition, a 5-day challenge. Yeah. Go make a best movie in their own languages and the title should be in the English. Then all of a sudden we will have a number of movies in a different languages. Fantastic. And I can promote that at a time. So I just said move forward, and they like the idea and they move. So this is something we are doing a lot of things like that. Sometimes we don't believe that we got all the creative ideas. So when the people come with the creative ideas, they come up with say, okay, I want to promote this in this way. Sometimes the season comes, sometimes the other, very good. And I always support them. I say that, we need, because then I really want someone from the young generation come. Of course. And if they come, I really admire their ideas and I want to push them. I really want to support them. So this is what we are doing. But even after that, whatever the material the Nepal Tourism Board is promoting, it has to be disseminated globally. But the channel to send everywhere, it is not that strong. Even the Nepali people who are even in the tourism industry, if you look at them, they make a comment on each and every political moves, but they never share the videos that we do share in our Facebook or anything. So the industry also need to be very much serious. We need to, and every Nepali who sees something about the Nepal, what happens if they just share it? In India, some competition happened just to make someone to win. Sometimes Nepali in the same way, if the whole nation work together to achieve something, then whatever the good products comes, like if Abdullah is saying something good about Nepal, what if we will just send this message throughout the globe? So using the social media. That is the one way. But whenever there is a good thing, we just hide. What is the bad thing is going, we are just... If earthquake was there, we were here in Kathmandu, they were repeatedly showing this square of this Tripureshwar, where that statue has fallen down. So they are repeatedly showing that, everybody was pushing that. It gives you an image like the whole Nepal is like this, you know. Instead, I was in Japan when there was a tsunami. No picture come in the public which shows a negative message. They were showing everything positive. So the mentality that we have, we need to change that as well. You know, totally, when we all started to think that together we can make a difference, then it happened. So what I decided, what I come up with a new vision is, whatever the time, whatever the training you give to the people who are above 20, it's never going to work. We need to start the tourism from the schools. So I come up with the sustainable tourism clubs. Like when I was a student, we used to have like environment club and so on. So I say, we don't need
what
an
is this called?
club.
Sustainable Tourism Club.
In schools, it can.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So my idea is, in every school, let's to start this tourism club, and who is going to do a monitor initially? The universities. Like I'm going to start from the Lumbini, because the new airport is coming. People who are living in that area are not very educated, and there are some communities who are really don't know about anything about the tourism, about the hygiene, about the keeping the environment safe. So what we decided, who can change? How many houses you visit? How many places you can give a training? You can't do it. But if you enter in a school where you have a 1,000 student, if you have that club, and every class have that club also, they are the member, and you can give a task from here. We will say in the morning, in the prayer, they come up with the keep the environment clean, something. Then that message, everybody, it's okay. Let's clean our compound today for the promotion of the sustainable tourism. They will do that. So from the beginning, and in the house also, we say, okay, teach your parents that they should separate the garbage into two, burnable, unburnable. How many times where you can go and give this training? You can't do it. But if you start to give this training from the students, this will, in a long run, it will happen. It will make a very remarkable change. So it makes difference. So considering that, I come up with this idea, and we have already did a MOU with the Lumini University. And Lumini University, they have around 300 students, who each student is going to take care of one school. They are going in every school, and they are going to start this club.
Why don't we work in a larger scale then? Let's make it larger.
This is the first one. And once, because we really want to understand what the problems can come, you know. So
this is a better testing phase.
Yeah, and then it's in the testing phase. We have already prepared the overall, you know, and then we are going to give some. We come up with the idea of giving some scholarships, best
that's what I was
club
mentioning.
is something, you know,
Travel
to whole Nepal travel, you know, so some prize at the last.
Branding at the end of the day, like what you said, right? You know this way better. Both of you guys know this way better than me. Domestic tourism, we have to brand that. International tourism, we have to brand that. When I was sitting in a hotel in the United Kingdom, at one point, when I turned on the TV, I saw Malaysia Truly Asia. There was an ad of Malaysia in UK where it says Malaysia Truly Asia. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe I want to go and see the Petronas Towers.
See?
You know, maybe I want to do that. That maybe for international tourists, we could focus on TV channels, and we could focus on tons of things if we have the budget, right? Because at the end of the day, budget is a big thing. For domestic, I loved the idea of the 2-day holiday. I don't know what happened to that.
Actually, we have pushed. Okay, I will focus on these all. The 2-day holiday is initially the NTV's concept. We said that on the 2-day holiday, and then we gave a 3 concept actually. Give no tax on 50,000 up to the income of 50,000. So that, but people have to spend that 50,000 for the travel.
Okay.
And they have to come with the bill, and they have to submit that bill. So if they do so, they don't 50,000. There will be no income tax. This is the one idea. Second idea was 2-day holidays weekend, because every country who have a 2-day weekend, they really getting a lot of domestic tourism. So Nepal can get that benefit. And third one, we were talking about the LTC, leave travel concession, for the 10 days.
What is this?
That is like people paid holiday, like what the government has announced this year. So out of the 3 concepts, government come up with the third concept, that is the paid leave concept. But now the problem is, paid leave is in the policy, but there is no clear procedure what they have to follow, where they can go, where they cannot go. So if I take a 10-day leave, getting the money on top of my salary, and I'm staying at home, that is not that good. Or I'm going to my like the father-in-laws or somewhere. So that is something like that will not
Can
going
be
to promote the
misused,
tourism. So we need to find a way so that we can use it properly on the right way.
Honestly, it should be the more dynamic
And
also.
at 3
It cannot
o'clock,
be one thing
3
only.
o'clock today, we have a discussion on the same issue, how to utilize this 10-day leave. What should be the guideline for that? So we are going to have a discussion from 3 o'clock this afternoon also. This is the third meeting that we are going to have. So I think with this all, we are going to give a government a clear guideline that this should be the minimum criteria that they should come up with, so that this can be fruitful. This can.
What I think at this point, honestly, like it should be dynamic and quick decisions. Honestly, that is maybe the thing. I mean, if we go too much, it may not be easy. But for example, like easy thing, what they were doing, like earlier in UK when it first started, when they first opened the restaurants, I believe that they were paying half of the bill was paid by the government kind of things were there. I mean, they were getting the half bill was given to government. So that kind of things were happening. But now slowly, in Turkey, for example, when it need to recover, they were paying, for example, the airlines, like whoever brings one tourist was getting some amount. So there should be some term decision. For example, I advise some friends already for weekend holidays, check-out time to be at 6 instead of 12. So they already started. Some hoteliers friends already started. Some small things like weekend holidays. Like because like 10 days kind of thing, I think a little bit like big product. It's long-term product, but short. What do we need at this time?
A fantastic idea could be right now that I've, as our conversation has occurred, is Nepal Tourism Board, Turkish Airlines could definitely go ahead and send maybe 20, 30. I'm just throwing out a number. Hey, I don't know. Maybe 20, 25 influencers, maybe on destinations that are open.
We told all the way.
We were talking on the same.
All the way we were talking the same.
Actually,
subject.
I had already done a kind of agreement with the number of airlines already. So that, but because of the pandemic, we didn't bought anyone because there was nobody interested to come to Nepal at the time. So this is what I was also talking with him. Let's do something.
No, honestly,
send Nepali influencers. We always forget Nepali influencers. Send Nepali influencers abroad. Maybe Turkish.
I know they have a project.
Yeah, I know. Maybe Turkish, not just till Turkey. You know, maybe to a few other destinations that are open as well in Istanbul as well as in Turkey and other places as well. Maybe NTB could be a part of it. You know, so give the influencers a little bit money, and maybe they could go to destinations and maybe take videos, maybe promote it. You know, so that they could also be a part of that place and then be a part of cross-promoting it.
Honestly, we individually do that. I mean, as an airline, we do that, but mostly with NTB, I mean, we do that a little bit separate with the tour operators and with our stations. We did like yearly around 5 to 6 familiarization trips we do from outside. We bring from different various countries to here. So, but as you said, yes, there are many things to be done. When the subject is tourism, there are endless things, honestly. But where we are, how we are moving, we need to find our path to move. As I said, the leakage in the wall. We should find our path and we should move from that place. And honestly, I like a little bit action, you know. So let's do one challenge then. I mean, let's start something. Maybe, I mean, they can announce from their side, but we'll be supportive for that. So we said Nepal more than mountains. That's my all-time motto for Nepal. Even if I don't live in Nepal, that will be my motto. Let's do a challenge for that. One national, one international. So 2 challenges. We'll give the tickets to the winners. So Nepal more than mountains will be the motto. So what they share under that. So what they understand when you say Nepal more than mountains. Let them share the ideas. Let's select good ideas from there. So we can do it open for international also.
Yeah. Of course, for people all around Nepal and international.
Yeah, winners I will give the ticket. No worry. Just make a challenge like that. We'll be supportive.
There you go.
And we need action.
And it all happened from here itself.
Well, and this familiarization trip, they are going to give a benefit to the both. Either the Nepalese visit to the Turkey. Ultimately, what they are going to do, they come with the videos that they are going to post.
Of course,
people, in Nepal start to visit there, and whoever visit, whatever either country's videos we share, that is going to give more information.
Sure. I believe in that. I believe
very, very important. At the same time, one thing I think I missed so you are talking about what we are doing so it's quite difficult because of the procurement, because this is a very big issue.
This is with international TV channels?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every year, Nepal Tourism Board allocate around $300,000 for that. Okay, for the promotion. But when it comes for the promotion and doing some agreement with them, always the Al Jazeera or the other channels who don't have a much mileage, they can beat that. And our objective was, our audience was something else, but in bid you cannot give to the right one, and you cannot directly give it. You have to go through the procurement, tender process. And so that's why we requested the government, because NTB's objective is completely different. We should be more flexible about our procurement rules and regulations, and we should have a little leverage on that. And we have, after I came also, I pushed it, but nobody want to give that decision that, you can do this and that. They don't want to give us additional rights. So now I come up with a completely different concept. I say, I met with the Sri Lankan ambassador. I say, let's please support us on a barter system. I will buy a Nepal TV for 100 hours in a year. And I will just get your video and I will just keep it running here. How many times you want. But at the same time, the same times video, please run what the video I provide you. You run that one, I run yours. To do a G to G and give pay to the NTV, it's not a big deal for me. I can do easily. So this is the new way that we identified, and we already started to work with the some of the partners in the Thailand. Now one of our HPRR. Honorary representative, he is really pushing our videos all the time. Maybe you have seen in some of the tourism board side. So he is translating everything, and he's so in especially in the Thailand, our visibility is increasing.
Maybe we could carry forward this with our diplomatic missions around the world and the diplomatic missions in Nepal, all the diplomatic missions in Nepal. But this is a great initiative. Maybe if we could just go ahead and do this faster.
So the main thing, what I believe in that, I mean, as you said, everybody should be part of the picture. Everybody must feel a kind of responsibility to market the product, market the country, market the beauty of the Nepal also. And they should be encouraged for that. Like, as you said, embassies, people living there, NRNAs, they are like your tourism ambassador at the same time for me. And if everybody takes a part of that, if you give small role to everyone, they'll be happy to part of it, and they will be honored for that.
And prices of the tickets are going to go down?
Hopefully, honestly, we are also, this time was hard for everyone, I know. So it will be better. We are hopeful for the future. I mean, because as I said, like human nature cannot be closed in somewhere. So they will now try to go out. So, and it's more than enough time for everyone, I guess.
There is going to be an explosion. It's not just an explosion of this tourist or that tourist. Of course, we are blessed with 1.4 billion in one side and 1.3 billion in one side. We are blessed.
Yeah, that's a big advantage.
We are blessed. NTB could just go ahead. If by 2025 we could have an explosion from both these countries coming in. True. Europeans, we always have, thanks to airlines like yours, Europeans to Americans to the rest of the world is open. And again, we have everything, like you said, we have everything. It's just a matter of time, and somebody needs to buckle up, tie the belt, and make sure that we roll out on this. Anything else that you want to add, Abdullah, before we bid farewell?
Arvin here to that. So thank you for inviting, first of all.
Always,
of course, like as I said, Nepal is a tourism destination for us, and whatever supports tourism, we are ready to support also. It's like my second home now, even first home for a long time. And as I said, my motto is Nepal more than mountains. Let everybody focus what can be more than mountains. Sometimes some easy word change, like instead of trekking, if you say nature walk, it can attract the people in a different way. Like we didn't even talk about the birds in Nepal. So, like there are many things. As you said, how you present, how you throw them to market, and how you share the beauty of your country with others is the main subject.
Yeah.
Rest, just we need clear health and safety protocols, and we have to move on.
No doubt on that. Dhananjay sir, with one thing that I've realized is young people are the future. Everybody has to take at least some kind of, the young people, they have so many new ideas, that they could just go ahead and present it to you or present it to people in power. And maybe even if you like the idea or don't like the idea, maybe take advice, which I'm sure you do.
This is what I'm really doing. And if you look at present, I hired two very young, energetic people who just in a bachelor's level, they are rewriting my whole website. Because formerly we used to write in a way that to give too much information,
it should be clear and
but
short
the people, they don't love that. They need some, they rewrite everything and it looks much better. So I really like that. When the young generation come, we come up with the TikTok competition actually in between. So it got really popular. Many videos came from the different part of the Nepal, and they are coming with the different dishes, different nature. We have focused on the nature, culture, and then the gastronomy as well. So we collected hundreds of videos at a time, and you don't believe they have some places are like that. I really want to visit immediately. There's something like that, which I never think that they are there. You know. It's something like that. Something's coming from Manang, Jumla, Humla, those places you dream, you talk, but you never been, and maybe nobody knows then. But I come to know a number of things from that. So I always love to really promote the young generation. That's why I come up with the new club ideas also, so that they start to think more positively about the Nepal. They understand Nepal, what Nepal is, because they are the one who is going to give message to the world. And in this present scenario, when the whole thing is getting digitized, or the globe in a digital world, people are roaming. Kids are from the morning till the evening. They are just following some bloggers, and they are the one who can give this information. So if we reach in the schools, that is going to change. Certainly change in the coming 10
school
12
project
years.
is good.
No doubt.
Tourism clubs
Digital is the key. Digital is the future, and we all know this. Any way, any medium Nepal Tourism Board ever needs any kind of promotion, that from my platforms, my personal platforms, or any of my platforms, if you ever want to send over any kind of information that is going to promote Nepal, I'll be more than happy to do that. Anything, because at the end of the day, it is for we all work for Nepal.
I'll just advise after the program. Mr. Regmi,
no, this is a good idea. Or instead, we can do, just on the request coming and saying, we can do a kind of 15 in 15 days. I will send on a different department what the research is doing, or what actually Nepal Tourism Board. Not all the time. I cannot make a time, but I will keep sending someone with whom you can talk, and who will give the information, what is going on, what we are doing. So maybe you can, if you have time, you can just fix a kind of a regular program on the tourism with the tourism board, and we can do it in every 15 days.
I have no problem on that, because at the end of the day, like I said, one of the things that I always want to promote, and I want to make sure that in another 25 years, I cannot make a 2-year plan or a 5-year plan. In 25 years, Nepal tourism should be the number one money maker for this country.
I'm very much agree on that. The only thing is, as I told you in the beginning also, we need a minister who really understands what tourism is, and at the same time, we need a secretary who really committed, who really support. I don't say that they have to be very knowledgeable. NTB is there. NTB people knows they are doing they are working on the tourism for the last 25 years. But when we come up with the good creative ideas, where nobody can make money, but they can make nation. At the time, they should give a commitment that I am here to make a nation, not to make money. I will support this idea. So with people with that sort of firm commitment, if they come and if they work with the NTB, I think we really can change the scenario of Nepal.
And we should remember one thing. I mean, sometimes you need to really invest in these areas, like by mind also, and also by money also, by project also. You need to invest. Then you can get the results only. I mean, for product development, everything, some areas have to be invested, honestly, by knowledgeable people, plus, of course, some investors. And definitely, as I said, I mean, I'm sure that Nepal will reach to 5 million. It is not a dream. It's very realistic number. I am telling you, it's not a dream. But of course, it will go step by step. It will not be in one day. Many steps has to be done.
Soon we are going to have 2 more additional airports. Once these airports come, now, in a full capacity, the 3 million people is the maximum capacity of the Trivandrum International Airport. So we have the almost same size airport coming in Lumbini. So we have that many people we can add up there. And globally, almost 1/7 of the population is the Buddhist population.
Of course.
So and like visiting Kashi, or visiting for the Indian people, the Pashupati is a lifetime dream for the people, Buddhist people, to visit the Lumbini. So just expect that many people coming to Nepal. And Pokhara airport is going to be a high-end tourist destination.
No doubt on that.
And so this is going to, so the number of tourists who are coming by the airlines will be increased 3-fold, or 2.5 or 3-fold. This is, I am very much sure. And on top of that, Indian border tourism and the China, we need to open the border from even the China as well. So once we do that, obviously from India it's much easier, from the China it's quite little difficult, but it is not impossible, because in number of occasions we have invited a number of people from the China as well. So looking at those possibilities, connectivity, that is really going to make a big difference, and Nepal can achieve easily the. I'm more optimistic than you.
Yeah.
I'm not only,
It's short term.
I'm not
I
talking
love
only
this.
about the point.
This is what I love.
That's good. That's good.
This is
That's
what.
good. That's good.
Dhananjay sir, Bishop Abdullah, thank you very much for your time, and it was a pleasure. Again, talking with like-minded people. For the goal is same. The goal is to make sure that the country prospers. That is the only goal. That is your goal. That is my goal. And thanks to you, brother, that is your goal too. So thank you very much for being here, sir. And thank you for your time.
Sanjay ji, for inviting us. Well,
Thank you.
it's a
Pleasure.
wonderful talk. It's pleasure is all ours, and thank you. And we'll looking forward to have a similar conversation in the days to come.
100%. And more power to Nepal Tourism Board.
Thank you.
Anytime, anything you need, feel free. Let me know.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right, brother. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
time too.
Thank you.
Thank
Our
you, sir.
pleasure.
If you love what we are doing, make sure that you subscribe and turn on notifications. This program is brought to you by Vyas Studios.